welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, for today's video, I will discuss to you cell structure. But before that, gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa lahat na nag-subscribe na sa channel ko. Shout out sa inyong lahat. Hindi ko na kayo isa-isayin dahil medyo madami kayo. Wow! So, shout out na lang sa inyong lahat. Thank you sa pag-share at i-share nyo pa para madami pa mag-subscribe ng mga estudyante. So, for today's video, I am going to discuss to you cell structure. Kung naalala nyo sa huling vlog ko about biology, I already discussed cell theory. So, today, proceed naman tayo doon sa cell types and cell structures na din. So, kung makikita nyo, ayan na. Ayan na sila. Tingnan nyo. Nadikit ko na pala yung na-unbox kong nakaraan na poster. Okay. So, sige, proceed na tayo sa ating lesson. Okay. So, for our biology class, sana na nag-enjoy kayo dun sa huling lesson natin. So, ngayon, meron na tayong siguro PowerPoint presentation na to. Gusto ko makita nyo na. Kasi mahirap na ngayon mag-imagine dahil i-discuss ko na sa inyo yung mga structure. Ano? Okay. So, let's proceed to the competency. So, shout out nga pala kay Teacher Jovi. Siya ang, isa sa contributor ng PowerPoint presentation na to. So, i-base our lesson, ako kasi binibase ko tong mga vlog na to sa MELCs, di ba? Ulitin ko yon sa essential learning competency. So, ang essential learning competency natin is for you to describe the structure and function of the major and subcellular organelles. Now, for the specific objectives is for you to describe and label the structures of a cell and for you to determine the functions of the cell organelles. So, I hope na may matutunan tayo dito lahat. Now, as you can see, that is the basic structure of a cell. You have here the microfilament, the centriole, the nucleus, ribosomes, lysosomes, Golgi apparatus, rough endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondrion, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So, for today's lesson, iisa-isahin natin siya. But, review muna tayo, no? So, review tayo. So, what are the main characteristics of organism? Alam nyo na yon. Isa-isahin natin. Of course, an organism of cells, they require energy, they reproduce, they maintain homeostasis, organize, respond to grow and develop, and exchange. So, review lang yan kasi na-discuss na natin yan nung nakaraan. Now, di ba nga, according sa cell theory, cell is the basic unit of life. Kasi sa hierarchy, sa level of organization of organism, nasa pinaka-baba ang cell. Sunod tissue, sunod organ system, organism, population, community, ecosystem, biomes, and biosphere. Now, let's proceed. Ayan, we are not going to discuss cell theory. Tapos na natin yan. So, sorry, itong PowerPoint na gamit ko is copyright from the CM Single. Na doon ko siya na-download or that ginagamit ko na to dati. Now, so, yan, hindi na natin iisa-isahin yan. Dito tayo sa cell size and type. So, cell, the basic unit of organism, can only be observed under microscope. Because there are 3 basic types of cell. Yung basic types na to, ayan, the animal cell, plant cell, and bacterial cell. Pero ang 2 main types lang yan is the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. So, let's discuss that later on sa next discussion pa natin. So, although all living things are made up of cell, organisms may be unicellular, composed of 1 cell, or multicellular, composed of more than 1 cell. Madami. 2 or more cells. So, typically, nagre-range siya sa 5 to 50 micrometers or microns in diameter. So, maliit lang talaga ang cell. Alam natin yan lahat. So, which cell type is larger? So, usually, plant cell is larger than the animal cell, and then the animal cell is larger than the bacterial cell or the prokaryotic cell. So, ganyan lang kaliit. 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10,000 microns. Now, there are many multicellular organisms and often they have specialized function. We will discuss cell specialization in the next topic. But for today, let's discuss prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Now, prokaryotics are the first cell. So, let's begin with the prokaryotic cell. So, ang prokaryotic cell, they are the first cell according sa history or sa development ng cell. Nauna sila. They are the first one. But they are lack of nucleus. So, wala silang nucleus. Take note of that. And then, they have no membrane-bound organelles. And the example will include bacteria. So, technically or basically, it is the simplest type of cell because it is only single and it has a circular chromosome. This is a typical prokaryotic cell. It has a nucleoid region here wherein the DNA is located or nandun ang DNA, andun sila lahat sa nucleoid region. And then, surrounded by a cell membrane and a cell wall. So, take note, prokaryotic cell also has cell wall. And their cell wall are made up of peptidoglycan. Now, prokaryotes are they contain ribosomes. So, no membrane in their cytoplasm to make protein. So, ribosomes, you all know that it is the site for protein synthesis. So, meron din yon. May DNA, may cell membrane, and then may ribosome. So, yun yung mga characteristics na meron ang prokaryotic cell. On the other hand, the eukaryotic cells, they have a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. So, you should remember that. Take note of that. So, unlike prokaryotic cell, eukaryotic cells have membrane-bound organelles and nucleus. So, it includes the protists, the fungi, plants, and animals. So, lahat sila ay eukaryotic cell. And they are more complex. There are 3 basic cell structure. So, you need to take note of this. The nucleus, the cell membrane, and of course, the cytoplasm with organelles. Okay? Those are the 3 basic cell structure. So, there are 2 main types of eukaryotic cell. The first one is the plant cell, and the second one is the animal cell. And also, we have the organelles. So, when we say organelles, they are very small or microscopic. From the word organ. So, organelles, ibig sabihin, is small organs. They are organs that are found in the cell. So, organelles, maliliit, microscopic, and they perform various functions for the cell. They are found in the cytoplasm, may or may not be membrane-bound. Okay, in this presentation, you will see an example of an animal cell and their organelles. We have here the attached ribosome. We have the free ribosome. Andyan, free floating yan. Yan, the cell membrane. The cell membrane, the mitochondria, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus, the centrioles, the rough ER, which is connected to the nucleus. And here the big one is the nucleus, and inside that is the nucleolus, and surrounding that is the nuclear envelope. Okay, let's proceed. And this one, you can see the plant cell and their organelles. Mapapansin ninyo, magkaiba ang itsura nila. Kita-kita nyo sa size sa size and sa shape. Here, we have the cell wall, and then the cell membrane. We also have the peroxisome, the Golgi apparatus, again, meron. Ribosome, smooth and rough ER, the nucleus, nucleolus, nuclear envelope, and yung nandito na wala doon kanina, we have the chloroplast and the vacuole. We usually call this as the central vacuole. Ano? Now, let's proceed. Let's start with the cell or plasma membrane. Sometimes we call this cell membrane, we call this plasma membrane. Pareho lang yon. So, the cell membrane is composed of double layer of phospholipids and proteins surrounds outside of all cells. So, they control what enters or leaves the cell. Now, as you can see in the illustration we have here, yan, the phospholipid bilayer wherein the proteins and the carbohydrates are embedded or attached. It is also a living layer. What is phospholipids? So, phospholipids basically contain a glycerol head and 2 fatty acids. That's why may tail siya. And then, the heads is hydrophilic, which means it attracts water. And the tails are made up of fatty acids that makes it a hydrophobic or it water repellent, water fearing, yan. Pareho lang yon. So, it makes up of a bilayer where tails point inward towards each other. As you can see in the illustration a while ago, magkaano sila. Nasa loob yung tail, nasa labas yung head. So, can move laterally to allow small molecules, for example, are O2, CO2, H2O, to enter. So, cell membrane is semi-permeable. So, molecules in cell membranes are constantly moving and changing. Pero, sinabi siyang semi-permeable because not all are allowed to go in and out. So, as you can see here, we have the hydrophobic tail and the hydrophilic head. Okay? So, aside from the phospholipids, cell membrane also contain proteins which help move large molecules or aid in the cell recognition. Because hindi naman lahat ng dumadaan or pumapasok at lumalabas sa cell, kasya dun sa cell, sa phospholipids na yon. So, kailangan ng daanan. So, one type of protein is the peripheral proteins, are attached on the surface, and the integral proteins that are embedded completely through the membrane. And may inner or outer. As you can see here in the illustration, this is an example of a glycoproteins. We call this a glycoproteins because it has the protein and the carbohydrates. So, ano ba yan? So, glycoproteins, they have carbohydrate tails to act as the marker for cell recognition. So, yung mga cell natin na sa katawan, mayroon silang tinatawag na cell recognition para ma-identify. Kasi, di ba, maraming types yan. So, merong cell recognition. Lalo na kapag nagkakaroon ng reactions ang katawan natin or ang mga cell natin sa mga foreign bodies. Okay, so cell membrane in plants, they lies immediately against the cell wall in plants. But in animal cell membrane lang yun kasi wala namang cell wall. So pushes out against the cell wall to maintain the shape. So it helps the cell wall to maintain the shape for the case of plant cell. And also in animal cell, nagtutulong siya mag-maintain ng shape. Okay? So, masyado ba mabilis, guys? Kasi 13 minutes na yung vlog natin. So, dito lang tayo sa mga importante. Okay, cell wall tayo. So, cell wall are non-living layer found in plants, fungi, and bacteria. They are made up of cellulose in plants. So, ito yung dapat nyong tandaan. So, pag plant cell, their cell wall are made up of cellulose. For bacterial cell, their cell walls are made up of peptidoglycan. And for fungi, their cell walls are made up of chitin. Now, as you can see here in the illustration, this is an example of cell wall. So, the main function is to protect and support the cell. It is also found outside of the cell membrane. Ayan. So, next natin is the cytoplasm. So, cytoplasm, it is where all the organelles are there. Nandun sila. So, it is a jelly-like substance enclosed by a cell membrane. So, it provides a medium for chemical reaction to take place. So, more on the cytoplasm, it contains the organelles. So, each organelles carry out specific jobs and lahat ng cell, they have cytoplasm. Kailangan yun, whether it is prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Now, control organelle. Let's proceed to the next main cell structure, which is the nucleus. So, it controls the normal activities of the cell. It contains the DNA and the chromosomes. It is bounded by a nuclear envelope or the nuclear membrane with pores. Tinatawag natin yun na nuclear pores. And usually, it is the largest organelle. So, each cell has a fixed number of chromosomes that carry genes, and the genes control the characteristics. So, that's why it is the control center dahil andun ang DNA, andun ang genes sa loob niya, nandun ang chromosomes. So, kung mapapansin niyo, here we have the nuclear envelope. So, yun yung nakapaligid sa tawag dito, kung ito yung nucleus, itong nakapalibot sa kanya, yung gilid niyan, that would be the nuclear envelope. So it contains nuclear pores for materials to enter and leave the nucleus. So usually, ang dumadaan dito is yung ribosome. Paglalabas sila, dadaan sila ay sa nuclear pore. Tas connected yun sa rough ER, so papunta siya sa rough ER. Doon na yung diretso. So, kung parang tayo, tulad ko, kung makikita nyo, pinapawisan ako ngayon. So, may pore kasi ako, doon lumalabas yung sweat. So, same with the nucleus, meron din siyang nuclear pore, doon lumalabas naman yung mga materials that goes in and out of the nucleus. So, inside the nucleus, you can find the genetic material there. And the DNA is spread out and appears as a chromatin. So, it is called chromatin if the cell is non-dividing pa or hindi pa siya magde-divide. So, nagko-condense siya and wrap up around proteins and then it will form a chromosomes. So, kailangan na yun pag magde-divide na. So, what does DNA do? So, DNA is the hereditary material of the cell. Alam nyo na yan, di ba? So, genes that make up the DNA molecule code for different protein. We will talk about that in the future vlogs. So, stay tuned. Now, let's proceed to the nucleolus. So, nucleolus is inside the nucleus. It may have 1 to 3 nucleoli. It disappears when the cell divides. So, make ribosomes that make proteins. Take note ha, ang ribosomes ay napoproduce sa nucleolus and then the ribosomes is the one that will produce proteins. Okay, maliwanag na tayo doon. Let's proceed to the other organelles, other part. We have the cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton, it helps maintain cell shape. It also helps move organelles around. It is made of proteins. Microfilaments are thread-like and made of actin. Ayan. Actin, tubulin, ibig sabihin, pareho yung protein. So, the microfilaments are and the microtubules are the one that is found in the, yun yung nagko-compose sa cytoskeleton. Ayan. As you can see in the illustration, this is the microtubules and this, yung smaller one is the microfilaments. And then, let's proceed to the next, the centrioles. So, centrioles is found only in animal cells. They are paired structures near nucleus, made of bundle of microtubules. It appears during cell division, forming mitotic spindle and helps to pull chromosomes pair apart to opposite side. Kung makikita nyo yan, pag naghihilahan, di ba? Pag yung laro na naghihilahan. So, parang ganun yung trabaho ng centrioles. So, sila yung mag-i-initiate ng hilahan na yun to pull apart the chromosomes during cell division. So, importante to, and they are found in animal cells. They are made of microtubules, which is the tubulin. Ayan, makikita nyo dito sa illustration here. Ayan, nagko-connect sila sa kinetochore. Ayan. Sa centrum, yun sa, ayan, centrosome, magkoconnect dyan, hihilahin. Ayan. Then, now, let's proceed to Hi guys! So, next vlog natin, part 2. Abangan nyo yun. Andun yung continuation ng vlog na to. Yun lang. Subscribe, like, comment, and share kung nagustuhan nyo yung video. And, peace!